and welcome to a brief tactical analysis of the Monash Benders. So here we have our basic starting formation. We have obviously a goalkeeper, a more defensively minded defender, and a defender that looks to effectively push up into midfield. I'll explain more about them later. We have a midfielder who's basically given creative license to roam around the pitch. Okay, they should look to spread balls out wide, and basically create chances for our striker to finish. Now I'm going to explain each of these roles in detail. Now, first of all, the main central defender. They should look to continuously hold their position, alright? This entire defensive third is their domain. They do not go past this entire defensive third. If they go past this entire defensive third, then what could possibly happen is that, let's say they move up along with their defensive partner, this entire defensive third is left completely exposed. The keeper stands no chance against let's say if an opposition player manages to find, there's no offsides in futsal, obviously. Let's say an opposition player finds himself in space. His partner, his teammate, can effectively play a through ball straight to him and effectively take two defenders out of the game immediately with one pass. Whereas if we had a more defensively minded centre-back, because they're staying in the final third, because they're responsible for this entire zone, this entire area of the pitch, they can immediately look up, see, he's going to pass, he's going to get one option here, and look to cut it off, okay? Likewise, the ball-playing defender. Think, I guess a more defensively minded Xabi Alonso, or a slightly more advanced Franz Beckenbauer. Where Beckenbauer would play around here, you instead move up. You're still expected to do your defensive duties, only in a slightly more advanced area of the pitch. Alright? When our team has possession, you're basically responsible from here to here. Alright? Obviously, you are going to have to move back to help out with defensive work if our team doesn't have possession. But when we do have the ball, you look up here, alright? You provide a safe passing option for both our midfielder, and our forward to basically recycle possession to, alright? Let's say our forward is under pressure. And they also close it down on midfielder. Our midfielder is basically out of the game. If the forward passes to the midfielder, then they have possession and they counter and they could potentially score. So what you do as the ball-playing defender, you're not staying in this final third all the time. When we have possession, you move up. All right, you basically roam this entire area, and you provide a safe way to retain possession. All right, the striker can effectively see, okay, I can't pass the midfielder. I at least have another option. I have another option in the final third. Sorry, not in the final third. I have another option in the midfield. Okay? So you're there, and once you have the ball, you can either immediately look to start a counter attack, or you can retain the ball and ensure that our players are back in position. You can wait for a midfielder to come here, pass, get another attack started. Okay? You can exchange a quick pass with the striker. The striker passes to you. You retain possession. The striker drifts wide, a ball over the top, and he's through. Okay? Now, when we don't have possession of the ball, your job is to basically, it really depends which area we lose it in. Okay, if we lose possession of the ball in their defensive third, our final third, and they're looking to slowly build. All right, they pass it between themselves. They look to get into midfield, and then you should look to screen this entire area. Because our midfielder, they're more of an attacking player. They obviously should be defending. They obviously should be defending occasionally, but your main job is to prevent the ball from getting to the final third of the ball. All right, your defensive partner, he's responsible for this area of the pitch. You are responsible for basically this entire half of the pitch. Okay, so let's say their midfielder receives the ball and is looking to run wide with it. Okay, you have to track him. Okay, he's in your zone. You track him. All right. In fact, this entire area is in your zone. All right. So while your defensive partner is covering. You look to hurt him. You look to hurt him wide and basically disrupt his play. Okay. Alternatively, you see a man free here. Okay. Our midfielder is covering this man, and our striker is basically attempting to provide pressure. They're not exactly going to like disrupt many passes because we're not a gegenpressing team. Okay. We're not gonna press hard across all areas of the pitch. Right. We just don't have. We just don't have that ability. I've kind of come to the juice quite quickly. So they've got a man free. Let's say the opposition keeper looks to launch a ball from deep. You should see it as a ball playing defender. You should see it because this is your entire zone. You should cover this. You should look to it and immediately look to pressure him. All right. Don't close him down until he's about to receive the ball. That is a very important thing here. All right. If you close him down when the moment before he receives the ball, let's say you're sticking him tightly like glue, the keeper's going to see that. He's not going to. The keeper here is not going to look for a pass. Is not going to look for a pass like deep into midfield if you're continuously marking him. All right. You should look to stay loose, especially if they have an overload in midfield. All right. You can't simply, especially if they have an overload in midfield. Okay. Let's say they have two players in midfield. All right. Our midfielder's caught out. He hasn't exactly seen the run, so you're stuck with a 1v2 scenario. What should you do in this case? You have either two options. Okay, you can either look to stay between them. All right, use your tactical knowledge to read the game and look to stay between them. Or you can drop back deep. And look to pick up this runner. Look to pick up this player because he's the more advanced player. He's the most likely to provide a creative threat. Okay? So while midfield rushes back to cover, you look to rush back as well. Okay? So let's look for an example here. Our opposition looking to build up. Okay? You, the centre back, just stay here. Screen this area. Look from any runners looking to come up here. Okay? As the ball playing defender, you've got two players. You've got two players in your area. Which one do you look to mark? Okay? You look to mark this one because he's more advanced. All right? He is the danger man. All right? If you've got to run it, you track him back. You track him back the entire area of the pitch. All right? Let's say, and the moment this player arrives, then your defensive partner, he can pick him up. Okay? Look, as a ball-playing defender, look to mark your man who is more advanced. I cannot stress this hard enough. All right? When you should effectively, once again, this is the entire half. All right? Look to come up. All right? You should always be looking to move up and provide a creative outlet and also provide protection against a potential overload in midfield. All right, if they try to play a through ball to your man, he's in a lot of space. You have to look up. You have to look to see that through ball being played and immediately move to cut it off. Okay, it's a lot more important to regain possession in midfield than us regaining possession in the final third. Now, obviously, regaining possession is important no matter what, but if we can regain possession in the final third, if we have somebody dedicated, in midfield, not in our defensive third, if we have somebody in midfield who is effectively playing as a more advanced defender, all right, once again, think Xabi Alonso here. As a more advanced defender, we can effectively negate this entire area of the pitch. Right, they wouldn't know what to do. Right, they don't know if you're playing as a central defender or as a midfielder. Right? And because of that, they don't know whether or not this player is free or not. Okay, because once again, you're not marking him that tightly. All right, you're effectively playing loose. You're looking to pick up on any runs. You're looking to pick up on any loose balls and recycle possession. But the moment the through ball is released, the moment they pass to this player, you look to close him down. All right, you look to pressure him and close him down the moment the pass is released, okay? And then you regain possession, and then you start a counter-attack. In midfield, you're basically given creative license, okay? You're number 10, you're an Angonche, you're a Tricotista, alright? You look to score goals and create goals, alright? You should look to not only play, you should not really look to play down the middle, but rather, you should not really look to play down the middle because this entire space is effectively the domain the domain of this player, alright? When we have possession, he can effectively spray balls out wide, centrally, alright? As a midfielder, you roam across this entire half, alright? You can roam here. You can roam here as a Mazzala. You can look to drift wide. You can look to drift wide, provide a wide passing option, or simply just run at the defense. Simply run at the defense and try to create space for a striker to finish. All right. There's very little instruction I can give you because, especially, well, firstly because I'm playing as a midfielder and I kind of know exactly what I'm doing. Because I made this tactic, but you should effectively be the main creative outlet of the team. All right. If things get too hot to handle, you always have a safe passing option in this player. All right. But you receive the ball, short sharp passing, and you look up. You see the space. You see the striker. You see the striker making a run. All right. And then you should immediately unleash them. And then the moment you unleash them, slow. Don't surge forward. Or if you surge forward, that attracts attention to yourself. Slowly move forward to receive a pass. Okay. Short, sharp passes are the name of the game. Pass here, move, pass here. Striker moves up. You dribble, pass here, through ball, through and go. Okay. Look to create at all opportunities, while ensuring that you play pretty short, simple passes. Okay. I don't want risky passes lead to a loss of possession. Okay. Now it's okay to play creative passes to do things that are unexpected. All right, but the main bread and butter should be short sharp passes to the advanced forward. Okay, the striker, meanwhile, this entire final third is your domain. All right, I'm not you're basically being relieved of defensive duties. Look to drift wide. Don't simply focus play down the middle. If you focus play down the middle, it becomes predictable. Okay. Look to drift wide. All right. Drift wide here. The opposition doesn't know whether or not. Oh shit! Should we mark him? Should we mark him? I'm not used to dealing with a striker who doesn't simply look to play down the middle. Okay. If he marks you here, basically he's left his mate one on one, or potentially even two on one with a ball playing defender. Okay. If he marks you here, then basically midfielder has the ball playing defender can either move up or he can pass back and exchange a nice 1-2 with the midfielder, alright? He doesn't know what to do. Okay, likewise, if you drop back into a false 9 position, he doesn't know. He doesn't know. Shit, should I cover him? Should I not? Should I instead hang back? And basically, we created a 3-man overload in midfield. A 3-man overload in midfield in what potentially could be a 3v1 scenario. All right, we have a deep line playmaker here, we have an advanced playmaker here, and we have a striker looking for a through ball. Okay, this player can effectively pass around. All right, if he doesn't come out for you, if your marker doesn't come out for you, okay, if he decides to stay back, then we've effectively gained an overload in this area of the pitch. If, however, he does look to follow you. Once again, we've discussed this before. We basically have a midfielder up against one central defender, alright, with acres of space, alright? With acres of space. He can literally receive the ball, run at him and have a shot, or run at him, you move up, your man's still thinking, oh shit, do I follow him again? And right now, we're through and go. You should always look to lead your man astray. Okay, don't simply focus play down the middle of the pitch. If you focus play down the middle of the pitch, once again it becomes repetitive, and the opposition can simply mark you. Okay, they can mark you out of the game if you're just continuously focused around this area of the pitch. Okay, so in summary, this player right here, you're responsible for this area of the pitch, this defensive third. All right, look to pick up your man, look to cut off potential passes. All right, there's a very high chance that you might find yourself in a 2v1 scenario. All right, we're trying to alleviate that. And if your ball playing defend, and if your and if your defensive partner understands how to play his role properly, he should understand the perfect moment to come out and the perfect moment to sit back, okay? The perfect moment to come out would be if we have possession of the ball. The opposition, they've surged forward with one possession, and the ball playing defender here should immediately look to come out and launch a counter attack immediately. All right, it's basically a 3v2 scenario, and we've got complete reign of the midfield. All right, that's a perfect time to come out. A time not to come out would be if they've retained their shape. If they've retained their shape, and our midfielders are nowhere to be seen. Our midfielders are nowhere to be seen in the final in the attacking half. Okay. This is the case in which you stay back, launch a decently long ball over to the midfielder, and then wait for something to happen. All right. It's okay for you to advance slightly away from your partner, but if you go nuts and if you go straight into midfield, then there's a high chance that your partner is stuck in a 1v2 scenario. Okay, so screen this area of the pitch, but also look to drop back when the moment arises. Okay, so if you see a runner from deep, once again, I know I'm talking a lot about the ball playing defender because it's a very important role. All right, unlike the more static central defender, or unlike the more simple-minded, unlike the more simple-minded striker, which just drift wide and look to put the ball in the back of the net. You as a ball playing defender, you've basically been handed two roles at once. Okay, look to launch attacks. Look to launch attacks when in possession. Look to provide a nice opportunity to recycle possession. But at the same time, if you see a runner coming in from deep, you track him back. Okay, you have to track him back immediately. Okay, and then we've got once you track back, you've got a more rigid defensive line, and it's going to be a lot harder to unpick. Okay, and moving back to the striker, this is I know this is slightly scattered, but the striker. Drift wide. I cannot make this clear enough. Your job is not only to score goals, but also to link up with the midfielder who may come in from deep and look to shoot in. Okay. Once again, if you play centrally, it will be a lot harder for us to score. Okay. If you look to drift wide, drift slightly deeper into the midfield, place some nice passes to the midfielder, it would be a lot harder for the opposition to contain you. Whereas if you purely play off the shoulder of the last man. Okay, if you play off the shoulder of the last man, then basically the only way you can score is through a through ball or ball over the top. Okay, if you drift wide, you give the midfielder a lot more opportunities to create. Okay, yeah. So this is the basic way we're going to be setting up. And finally, the keeper. Shot stopping, obviously. Positioning, obviously. Okay, I've never played keeper before, so I'm not exactly sure how to convey this to you. But positioning is key. But also, what's important, you should be comfortable coming out and playing with the ball at your feet. All right, think Edison, think Ter Stegen, think Manuel Neuer. All right, a sweeper keeper who is comfortable playing the ball at your feet and sweeping up loose balls. Okay.